Hey everyone, good morning or good evening, depending on where you are in the world, or good afternoon. Down under with love, it's 2 p.m. on Friday in Brisbane. So wherever you are in the world, hello, and I hope you're well. All right, so this live stream, I'm doing this at 5 a.m. because Cassie woke me up at 3:30 for absolutely no reason whatsoever, other than she just wanted to go outside and sniff about. She didn't even have a wee, and I can't get back to sleep. So I was going to do this later, but I decided just to come live now. So this stands in place of a video today. For those who are watching it on the replay, this is the video on this channel for today, because I'm busy later, doing real world stuff. So anyway, we're here to talk about Daniel Hives. This is a young man who's went missing in December. So he's been missing now for over 3 months, and there really is not much information about him out there at all. And I've been asked to cover this case, so I have been aware that this case existed. It was one of the cases that was talked about when Nicola Bulley was missing, when the theory about the river monster serial killer kind of came out, along with Peter Baglin. So Peter Baglin went missing in December, but Daniel went missing also in December from the same county. So it's understandable when, it was Nicola Bulley was a high profile missing case. And then people started to dig into who else was missing in the area and came up with Peter Baglin, who has since been found sadly deceased. But Daniel is still missing. So I'm going to give you what I know about Daniel, what I can find about Daniel, and it really isn't much. But he needs to be found, and his friends and his family are desperate for answers and are out there searching for him. So we're going to get into that. So let's say a few hellos before we start. And I want to give you a couple of case updates as well. Or not really case updates, but things I'm going to be covering on the channel in the next few days. So I want to do that just first, very quickly. So Betsy's Barn, hello, down under with love. Elise, Jackie, fly on the wall, couldn't sleep. Yeah, I know the feeling. Shell X222. Who else? Hope, hello, checking in. It's at 9 p.m. for Shell. Trina, hello. Sassy7, go find me. V, Rhonda, Mama Dukes, Alyssa, Morgan, Karen. Yeah, he's still up. Do they know how he died? Who are we talking about? Peter? No, there's no information come out at all. So I don't know how he died. Don't know. Lorraine, hello. Nancy, Lady Panther, Janet, Kimberly from New Zealand. This is a good time for you guys down under, I guess. It's a bad time for everyone else. A good time for you guys. Mind you, 9 p.m. 9 p.m. is a reasonable time as well. Burlington Park, Amy, Shannon, Paula from Texas, Eastbound Nomad, Maria. That's it. How old is he? We're going to get into that. He's 28. Well, he's actually had a birthday. He's 29 now, but he was 28 when he went missing. So I'm going to get into Daniel's story. Just very quickly, just want to say that it's great news that Thomas Cashman, the now convicted murderer of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell, was convicted yesterday, found guilty on all charges. So you might have seen the brief video that I made over on Michelle Walks. I was actually making an update video. It's interesting. I was making an update video, and I was just going through what the Liverpool Echo had been saying about the trial. Liverpool Echo have done some great work actually following the trial, and putting on, literally word for word what has been going on in the trial. Because in the UK, we don't have televised trials. Cameras are not allowed in courts, so it's down to reporters to go in there, sit in the public gallery, and basically take notes on what's happening. So the Liverpool Echo have been great on that trial. And I was just doing an update video following their updates, and the news came in actually while I was in the middle of making that video. News came in that a verdict had been reached. So his sentencing is on Monday. So I'll do an update on that case once the sentence comes in. So he's in court set for the sentencing on Monday. So that's the Thomas Cashman trial, and Olivia's family are delighted that we've got some justice now for Olivia. Olivia's case, of course, is from Merseyside. It's actually only 28 miles away from me, so it's very close, because I'm in Lancashire, but I'm close to both the Greater Manchester and the Merseyside borders. So Peter Baglin was about 30 miles from me, but in Greater Manchester. And then Olivia's in Merseyside, 28 miles away from me. Daniel is in the same county as me, but he's further away, because Daniel went missing right the north of the county. I'm in the south of the county, live in a big county. So, yeah, I'm going to get into Daniel's story in a second. I'm also catching up on the Trezell and Jacqueline West trial. The Cal City boys, or in an Awesome West, or I prefer to use their birth names, Classic and Sincere. So that's been ongoing. So I'm going to catch up with what's going on there. Nothing's been televised. There has been some audio that Kern County are putting out, but they don't want it live streamed or recorded. So that's sad. It's a shame, because I think more people will be talking about that trial if it was, live streaming, even of the audio was allowed, but they're not allowing it. And then, of course, Letitia Stokes' trial is starting on Monday. Jury selection is in its final stages. That'll be done on Monday, and then the evidence presentation will start. So I'll be following that case closely on this channel. Which trial? Well, Thomas Cashman was convicted yesterday. He's the now convicted murderer of 9-year-old Olivia Pratt-Corbell, who I followed from the very day the murder happened. The murder happened August 22nd last year. Really shocking case. Olivia just shot dead in her own home. It's a mad case. It's crazy. But at least we've got some justice for Olivia. And then I'm following the Trezell and Jacqueline West trial. Going to catch up on that. And then Letitia Stokes' trial starts on Monday. All right. So, but I've covered Olivia's case all the way through. So I do have a playlist on Olivia's case. So Thomas Cashman's being sentenced on Monday. So I'll be doing an update on Monday once the sentence comes in. The Daybell trial, I'm not sure, Maria, because I know the case, but I've just never talked about it on this channel. So I will follow it. I will be following it. I don't know how much content I'll put out about it, though. So it's busy with trials at the moment. And also, I could do a different missing persons case every single day. There are so many. It's just crazy. Crazy. And all right, that's a good time to just get into Daniel's story. So Daniel Hives. Now, Daniel was 28 years old, and this is Daniel. He looks very young for 28, I think, but then again, everybody looks young for me. So let's get into Daniel's story, and I'm reading this from the Lancaster Guardian. So where does it start? There's so many adverts on these news pieces. It's annoying. There's adverts everywhere. So, all right, actually, we'll start with this one. This one tells us a little bit more about the backdrop of it. Okay. So, Daniel, 28-year-old Daniel, went missing on the 10th of December, which is a Saturday, from Lancaster. So I'll orientate you in a second as to where Lancaster is in the world. He was last seen about 9:30 p.m. and he had an altercation. Now, I've got more questions about this case than I do have information, which tells me there's not a lot out there about him. If I've got that many questions, there's clearly not that much about him out there. So he had an altercation with someone, and he was seen walking away from a street in Lancaster. So Daniel he was visiting friends in the town of Lancaster, although he was living in Preston. Originally from Coventry, but he moved to Preston around 6 years ago. So last seen 9:30, Saturday, 10th of December, and he was in City View, Sidings Close in Lancaster. So despite a widely shared public appeal at the time, there's been absolutely no sightings of him, just nothing. Now, the Lancashire police did the usual, searching and stuff. This is in the middle of a very busy town. As I said, in a second, I'll orientate you as to where this is in the world. Very, very busy town. It's a university town. There is a big university in Lancaster, so there's lots of students around. And it's a Saturday night. So how can you just absolutely disappear off the face of the earth in a busy town at 9:30 on Saturday night? It's crazy that there's just nothing. He's just gone. Just gone. Now, this is another river case because his last sighting, City View Sidings Close, is very, very close to the River Loon. The River Loon runs right through the middle of Lancaster. So this is the town of Lancaster right here, and the River Loon runs right the way through it. So this is where Lancaster is, and then Daniel was from Preston, or was living in Preston, which is a city down here. So I don't know how far it is, about 20 miles, 25 miles. So he was living in Preston here, and he went to visit friends in Lancaster on the Saturday night, had an altercation with someone, and then was last seen leaving the area. And then nothing since. Nothing since. And that's it. That's it. That is all we know about Daniel's disappearance. So I've got a lot of questions. A lot of questions. Now, as I said, when Nicola Bulley went missing, and Nicola Bulley went missing from here, St Michael's on Wire, people did pick up on this case, and it briefly got a little bit of a boost in terms of people talking about Daniel's case. But since things have gone so quiet, that Daniel's case is at threat of just being another one of those cases that sits on the shelf and nobody gets any answers. So Daniel's friends have been out there in Lancaster. I'm going to talk about that in a second as well. They've been out there in Lancaster trying to publicise the fact that Daniel is still missing. So I think that's why someone asked me to cover it, to publicise it. So that's exactly what I'm doing, even though there's very little information about this case because we don't know anything. 10th of December, busy Saturday night in Lancaster, a couple of weeks before Christmas. Big student town. There's a big university in the town, so lots of students around. And Daniel just goes missing from the centre of Lancaster. So it's about 40 miles from me. I live like down here in this region here. Orientation, as I said, Nicola Bulley went missing from here. And then Peter Baglin, who I've also covered on this channel, who has since been found, he went missing from here near Worsley. And then Olivia, the little girl who was murdered, is from this area. So this is Merseyside. This is Greater Manchester. I'm in this area. And then Nicola was this area. And then Daniel is up here. So Daniel went missing from the town of Lancaster in the county of Lancashire, which is where I live. So let's pop down. You can see this is right in the centre of the town, and the River Loon runs right through the centre. And Daniel went missing from City View Sidings Close, which is right here. This kind of row of houses. He was seen leaving this area. Now, because of the proximity to the river, the police focused their search on the river, and they had divers in. There's been drones out and nothing. But unlike Nicola Bulley, who disappeared from right at the side of a river with no fencing, there's no fencing on the River Wyre in the area that Nicola was last seen walking. It's not so the case in Daniel's case. It would be virtually impossible, in my opinion, to fall in this river accidentally. And when we go down to Street View, you'll see why. So I just don't understand. I just don't understand how Daniel could have got in the river unless he was unless he jumped or he was thrown in. But yet he's nowhere else. No sightings. Now, the police appealed for dashcam footage and so on from this very busy road. The A6 runs straight through. This is Morecambe Road, but it's the A6. It's a major A road through Lancashire. So they appealed for dashcam along this road. But it's quite possible that Daniel walked across this bridge, which is you can't go down to Street View on this bridge because it's a walkway only, and Google hasn't covered it. So it could be possible that Daniel went this way. Now, the reason why I think Daniel might have gone that way is if he had an altercation with someone. Let's just think about this logically. If he had an altercation with someone and he was on his way home, like leaving the area, and he was on foot, it's quite possible he went this way along Millennium Bridge rather than this way along the A6. That would take him in the opposite direction to where I think he might have gone, because I think he might have tried to go to the train station, which is just down here, about a mile. So that's about a mile. So if he lived in Preston, like there's a regular train service between Lancaster and Preston, and it's 9:30, so trains would still be running. So I think possibly he's crossed Millennium Bridge to just walk to the train station. So I would say the search really should be concentrated between Millennium Bridge and Lancaster train station. That's just my hunch, because I have no information about who else Daniel might know in Lancaster. So if he had an altercation on this street right here, who else does he know in Lancaster that he might have gone to visit? Or were there other friends that he knew out in Lancaster town? So did he go into the town to go to McDonald's or a pub somewhere? Otherwise, if that's not the case, otherwise he's tried to go home. So he's gone missing between here and here. But that's just my hunch. Dan, he could have gone anywhere. He'd have literally gone anywhere. So that's where we are. Exactly. Who was the altercation with? I have no idea. No idea. Yeah, I mean, it's a logical conclusion that the police drew, that, you know, the proximity to the river, it's the river. If he's nowhere else, this is a busy town. There should be loads of people who saw him. He should be on CCTV. But there's nothing that has been made public anyway. Obviously, the police might have information that they haven't released. But there's like literally nothing other than it's a busy town. If he walked this way, let's just do the walk route that Lancaster train station. We'll do a walking route. So that's the walking route. Straight, virtually straight line. So across Millennium Bridge, down this street, and then you get into a really busy area. Like, I know Lancaster. I don't know it very, very well, but I do know this area of Lancaster. I've been to conferences and things. Lancaster train station, that's the castle. The Lancaster Castle is actually the prison. So there's a court there, courthouse there. Now, obviously, that's not going to be open on Saturday night, but it's just really busy. Like, McDonald's is there, there's pubs there, there's a cinema there. This is the main shopping area, KFC. This is the main shopping area. So did Daniel go and meet someone in this area? Did Daniel go this way? Or did he literally take this very easy walking route to go to the train station? But he should have been on numerous CCTV cameras. I don't see how somebody walking this route to this route, 0.7 miles, how you can disappear if you went this route. I just don't get it. I'm flummoxed by this case. So people who really do like a mystery, then Daniel's case is a really good one to start investigating, because there's no information, there's no answers at all. So, yeah, I would like to know who else he knows in Lancaster. Did he intend to go home that night? Did he go to visit friends in this area? This is where he was last seen. Seen walking away. So did he intend to go home that night, or was he going to stay over in Lancaster in another location? Because if he was meant to be staying the night here and he had an altercation with someone, then the chances are he's gone home. But if he got on a train, he'd be seen on CCTV. Lancaster Station is a big station. There'll be there's CCTV on that station, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. There's CCTV on the trains. If he caught a train, he would have been seen. So in my opinion, he's not got as far as the train station if that's his intention. Or he could have gone into town and tried to get a taxi as an alternative route, you know, way home. But it's obviously a lot cheaper on the train. So did he go this way? That's my hunch, that he was going this way. But I don't know. Who was the altercation with? We don't even know if he walked away on his own. I assume he did, but did someone follow him? And then did that altercation continue elsewhere? But if it did, why was that not caught on CCTV? Don't know, Karen. There's virtually no information. Because that was seen, that was reported. That was reported by whoever he was with. Doesn't have family in the area. He's actually from Coventry, which is in the Midlands. And he moved to Preston a few years ago. So he's made a life here in Preston, in Lancashire, but his family are down in the Midlands. Where did I get this information from? I'm going to go through the news reports in a second. I'm just kind of orientation about the location at the moment, but I'll go through the news reports in a second. I've got a couple to go through. We have no information on the altercation. We don't know if he was injured. Don't know. But the last thing we know is that he was visiting friends in Lancaster. An altercation broke out, the nature of which I do not know, not been reported. Whether it was a fight, was it an argument? Who was that with? Was that with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you know, someone he was in a relationship with? Was it with the friend that he went to see? Or was it with a stranger? Was the altercation with someone he didn't know? There's so many questions. It's a complete mystery. Complete mystery. If you like mysteries, then this one it's confusing. So we'll go down to street level and I'll show you that if he's in the river, which he could well be, but how did he get in the river? It makes sense, like the police theory that he was in the river, and that's where they concentrated their search. I mean, obviously, they will have checked CCTV and done all of the things. But it makes sense to think, well, he either jumped or he was pushed. Because, go down here, all along the river, can't see it from there, go up here. So police were appealing for CCTV along this road. This is the A6. This is a busy road. Busy road. Goes over the River Loon. Now, all along, you can see from here, all along, so this is where he disappeared from, this area. All along there's fencing. All along the River Loon, there is fencing through Lancaster. So if you had an accident in the river, you would have had to intentionally climb over the barrier. It's not like Nicola Bulley's case, where the banking is steep and it's a trip hazard. You could easily fall in accidentally. Whereas the River Loon, you can't fall in accidentally because there's barriers on whichever bridge you try to cross. There's another busy road here that takes you into town. See how big it is, right? There's another bridge there that takes you into town, but he was last seen going in this direction from Sidings Close right here, going seen in this direction. Now, the walkway, Millennium Bridge, can't go on it via Google. Now, I could go and walk this route. I have a good mind to, actually. Just go and walk this route. That's Millennium Bridge, and that takes you then to the train station, 0.7 miles away. But again, if you walked over Millennium Bridge, the entire place is barriered. You can't get onto the river in this location without climbing over a barrier, whether it's on a bridge or whether it's down the side of the river. If he decided to go for a walk along the river to calm down, I don't know, he had to climb over the fence. He had to consciously climb over the fence. But if he's in the river, if he is in the river, if he either jumped in the river intentionally, now we don't know what his state of mind was. This is another set of questions opens up. What state of mind was he in? Was he depressed? And did this altercation kick him over the edge? And he jumped in. And this River Loon is deep. The River Loon is deep. If he's in the river, he's gone, quite frankly. And I'll tell you for why. Because the River Loon is tidal from the weir at Skirton, which is here. So there's this big weir. Not like in Nicola Bulley's case, where it's a tiny weir that a body can easily slip over. The weir here is huge, but it's not relevant to this story because that's further upstream. And from this point, the river is tidal. And then it's only about 4 miles or so, maybe a bit more, because the river winds around. Oops, I just messed up my thing there. I'll get rid of that and do that back in a minute. The River Loon leaves Lancaster, and then it's virtually straight to the estuary. And the estuary lands out in a very familiar place, Morecambe Bay. Morecambe Bay being one of the ones that we discussed in the Nicola Bulley case, because the River Wyre from Nicola Bulley's case, estuary is here. This is the River Wyre that we've been talking about for weeks. The River Loon is just up here. There's the River Loon. So it's the next river along, I guess. And like the River Wyre, whoa, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Like the River Wyre, the river is very silty and sandy. Massive sandbanks. Loads of places for a body to get trapped. So River Wyre's here, River Loon is just here. This is where it estuaries from Lancaster. Just there. Can you see? It's only a very short distance. And this is tidal. This is tidal. So if he jumped in the river, or he was pushed in the river, or somehow he accidentally fell in the river, you know, I believe personally that Nicola Bulley had a tragic accident. But I can't say the same for Daniel. I can't. Because the entire river through Lancaster has got fencing and barriers. Because it's dangerous. It's a tidal river. It's dangerous. So, in my opinion, accident in Daniel's case is way down the list. The most likely scenarios is either he jumped in the river intentionally or he was pushed in the river. That is, if the river theory is the thing that actually happened. Because we don't know. Did Daniel try to go home and someone picked him up? Someone he knew picked him up. like his friends are thinking he could have been kidnapped. I don't know. This is another. You go down that route, down that rabbit hole, and you've got to ask your question: did he have any enemies? Did anybody have any reason to kidnap him? We just don't know. But if he's in the river, I'm telling you, he's gone, because it's only a very short distance to the estuary. And then this is Morecambe Bay that we've talked about in relation to Nicola's case. And this is a very dangerous bay, very dangerous. There's sinking sand. There's a lot of hazards. People have died in Morecambe Bay, drowned in Morecambe Bay, just been caught out by the tide. The tide is fierce. And then Morecambe Bay is then into the Irish Sea. But get rid of that. And I want to go back to Lancaster. City view. How do I get rid of that? That's not relevant. That's an accident. So it went down to here. So, like I said, if he tried to go this way over Millennium Bridge to the train station, which is just here, he would have been caught on numerous CCTV cameras if he'd gone this way. If he'd gone into town, it would have been caught on many CCTV cameras. There would have been sightings of him. This is a busy, busy town. Saturday night, 9:30, just before Christmas, there'll be people out partying. Students will have, be at the final stages of the semester, looking forward to going home for the holidays. There would have been a party atmosphere in Lancaster. And as far as we know, there's nothing. As far as we know, now the police might have information, as I said, that has not been released. But let's talk about some of the things that his friends said, and the efforts that his friends have been making. His friends have, there's been information that's come out from the police, but not nearly enough. Nicola Bulley totally stole the limelight for obvious reasons, for understandable reasons. Nicola Bulley, middle-aged woman, mother of two. It strikes the public, gets the public's attention. And as I said, Dan's case got a little boost when Nicola went missing, because people did start digging into other cases. And this was one. But because there's so little information out there, there's very little to say about him. It's such a shame that a 28-year-old young man can literally disappear off the face of the earth in a busy town on a Saturday night just before Christmas. How does that work out for anyone? How does that make sense? It's a city, not a town. Is it? All right. Okay. It's a big place, Lancaster. Lancaster's a big place. My middle son, so my youngest son lives with me. And then my eldest son was not murdered, but killed by a dangerous driver. And my middle son, he went to university in Lancaster. So my middle son, he doesn't live in Lancaster anymore. He did his university years in Lancaster, and then he's got a job in Manchester. So he doesn't live there anymore. But I know Lancaster well. I've been out in Lancaster when I was young. I had friends in Lancaster. I used to go out in Lancaster. I've been to Lancaster University for conferences. I've been to conference centres. I've been to the castle. The castle's great. The castle's like an ancient medieval castle built by one of my ancestors, I might add. But it's like there's the castle part of it is still a tourist attraction, but in the same building there is an active court and the holding cells. So there's a jail there. So it's a fantastic place. It's really enchanting to see. You can be on like a tourist look around the castle, and then you see like barristers and the judge walking about in wigs, like in between court cases. It's strange. So it's I don't know. I don't get it. It's just concerning. It is beautiful. Like the sandstone buildings, like the old buildings are beautiful. But in recent years, it's been a very busy socializing spot for people. You're in Ironside. I've got a friend who lives near there. Michelle owns a castle. One of my direct ancestors is John of Gaunt, who was the son of Edward III. I'm going back to like the 1300s, but I've traced my ancestry back to John of Gaunt. I'm an ancestor of John of Gaunt, not an ancestor, a descendant of John of Gaunt, who was the Duke of Lancaster, and he built Lancaster Castle. Yeah, too drafty. I've got some pictures actually of Lancaster Castle from years ago. It gives me some claim, it does, yeah. I'm probably like, I don't know, 10,000th in line to the throne. Hey, cousin. Yeah, there's lots and lots and lots of descendants of Edward III. He was a very prolific breeder. Well, actually, it's his descendants that were prolific breeders. Yeah, it's so busy. How can someone just disappear? It does not make sense. So what are the options? The options: accidentally fell in the river. Unlikely, in my opinion, because of the barriers and the fencing. Did he jump in the river? Well, possibly. Was he depressed? Did that altercation, whatever it was, lead him to make a temporary fix, a permanent fix to a temporary problem, shall we say? Or did that altercation lead to a fight further away from where he was last seen, and he ended up in the river? He was pushed in the river. Or did somebody completely outside of that altercation pick him up? You can go down to the loon if you know how to. You can, but in the route, you can just step over the fence. You can get to the river, but you have to purposefully make your way there. It's not like you can just accidentally fall off the bank. You have to make a conscious decision to get down there. Now, could he have done that? Yes. Could he have done that? Yes. But what frame of mind was he in? That's the thing. I think Daniel's frame of mind is the most important factor in this. Given that we don't know, police haven't released whether he was seen on any CCTV cameras. I assume they would have done. Because that's important, isn't it? Important to know. Because if he'd been seen on CCTV cameras, the police could have released that footage of what street he was on, so we could have a direction. You're local and you didn't know about him. I only heard about it when people were digging into other missing persons cases in Lancashire. And that's how Peter Baglin's case came up. And this came up at the same time. However, it was only when a few days ago someone contacted me and said, would I cover the case, that I remembered about it. I honestly had forgotten about it. Because there's so little information. There's so few people talking about it. His family are looking for him. So his brother is from a big family. I think he's got 8 brothers and sisters. if I remember rightly. He's from a big family, but they live down in the Midlands, so they're not local to this area. But one of his brothers has been doing a lot to publicise his case, but it's not enough. It's not enough. So this is why I've decided to cover this case and try the best I can to publicise it. But when you have very little information to go off, it becomes more and more difficult to make videos because you've got no new information to talk about. Took a taxi, or a stranger saw the event and got him away by car. Did the police check hospitals? Yeah, oh yeah, they'll have done all of that. Yeah, they'll have done all of that. But remember, this is back in December, 10th of December. So the first things the police would have done is check CCTV, because that's easy to do. Check CCTV, check hospitals, check all the kind of local, like, I don't know, places where someone might end up if they're injured. And then the next kind of phase would be getting divers in the river, which they did. And then appeal. So they were appealing for dash cam footage along here, because he disappeared from here. Now, this is the busy road, the A6. They were appealing for dash cam for anybody travelling along this road at that time to see whether he passed, whether he went this way. But like I said, in my opinion, he's probably, if he was going home, he's probably gone this way along Millennium Bridge, which is a walking bridge only. There's no cars across here, so there won't be any dash cam for Millennium Bridge. But once he got over Millennium Bridge, then there's piles of security cameras that he would have passed. And if he didn't pass any of them, then he's gone no further than here. If he wasn't captured on any camera in Lancaster town, then he's still in this area. He was still in this area. So what happened is my question. What happened? So Daniel's frame of mind becomes very important, and the altercation that happened is incredibly important. In my opinion, this is just all my opinion. All right, so let's look at a couple of news articles. So Lancs Live, who've done a lot to publicise Nicola's case, have also been on the case for Daniel, and there's some really good information on Lancs Live about him. So, like I said, friends and family have been doing like walkabouts, if you will, in Lancaster to try to, keep Daniel's name out there, keep his face out there. So they've been walking about Lancaster just to raise awareness, which I think is great. No one saw him go. He was seen leaving City View after this altercation. So the last sighting is 9:30 here in City View. So it takes you onto Loon Street, and then you can just walk across here. This is a walkway. You walk down here, you walk under this area, and then you go down Millennium Bridge over the river, and then you can go to the train station that way. So that's the last sighting. So someone did see him go, but that's the last sighting. Don't know. Leaving alone, Trina. I don't know. Did someone follow him? No, it's just a row of houses. City View is just a row of houses. Like, it's just a small street. So they're like terraced houses. That's all. It's not a bar. This is Loon Street. And then the next one along, I think, is City View. But it's this area. So where siding's close. So it's just houses, small houses, that's all. No bar here, just houses. So he'd have gone along Loon Street and then walked down here to get onto Millennium Bridge. And then that bridge that you can see there, that's the A6, Markham Road, that takes you into town and then out of town. But the walkway is right here. So literally rows of houses, that's all. So he's obviously in someone's house, had an altercation, and then left. And that's the last sight. I mean, the people who saw him leave didn't know if he was alone or not. I don't know. I don't know. Right, let's look at some of these news articles. So, friends of missing Dan Hives say our world has stopped as they desperately search river where he vanished months ago. Last seen 9:30, Saturday, December 10th, as his friends and family say more should be done to find him. Okay, so on a cold, windy morning in Lancaster, a group of men and women and children gathered at the foot of the Millennium Bridge in Lancaster to search for their beloved friend, Daniel Hives. Dan, who was originally from Coventry, that's in the middle, it's near Birmingham, Coventry, but moved to Preston around 6 years ago, was last seen at around 9:30, Saturday, December 10th, when he was in City View, Sidings Close in Lancaster. No one has seen the 28-year-old since, despite a widely shared public appeal and pleas from his family and friends. So this is from March the 3rd. Today, March 3rd, nearly 12 weeks since he was last seen, close friends, loved ones, and even strangers turned up to help search the area close to the River Loon. Isabel Seedall, one of the organisers of the search, says she feels her life has just been put on hold since Dan was reported missing. She told Lancs Live, "It feels like the world has just stopped. We don't know what day it is. We aren't sleeping. It's like the days and nights merge into one. Our normal daily routines have been put on pause. Without Dan in our world, it's just become a really dark place. He was such a beautiful light. He's one of those people who lights up every room he walks into. You just need to stand next to him and you feel better. And I know all his loved ones will say the same." A Facebook page has been set up called Join the Search for Daniel Hives. Now has over 1,000 members who are still desperately looking for him. So we'll go to that in a second. We'll have a look at the Facebook page in a second. Those close to Daniel have spent nearly every moment they can spare since he went missing looking for him. Paige Bradley told Lancs Live she feels like every day she doesn't dedicate to finding him has been wasted. That's horrible. It's horrible not to have any answers whatsoever. And he's in my county. It's yet another local case, but it's further away. Like I said, it's further away for me, way further away than Nicola. Nicola's 25 miles. Dan's probably 40 miles. Peter's about 30 miles. Olivia's 28 miles. So all these cases are really local, like within 40 miles, if you would call that local, I guess. But I do know Lancaster. I do know Lancaster. Okay. It's been almost 12 weeks. So remember, this is nearly a month later. This was the 3rd of March where this was written. It's been almost 12 weeks since Dan was last seen. Chantel, Dan's best friend, says it's so much out of character for him to disappear without a trace, and adds the few weeks have been horrific. So it's out of character for him to just disappear. Like he's not done this before. Wonder if alcohol was involved too. Well, maybe it was a Saturday night. So, 2 weeks before Christmas. Why wouldn't they go after him? Probably because they thought he was just going home. Like maybe he just said, I've had enough, I'm going home. Check Cat4's 30-foot message. Hold on. I'll do it on StreamYard where I can read it better. Is this the young man, the one who left friend's house with another friend, got in an altercation with someone? Him and his friend went to park near river. Friend left him. A couple there heard a splash. Oh, wow. It could be. It could be. If it's Lancaster in December, then it's him, yeah. So if he's in the river, he's gone, I'm afraid. It's been hard ever since he went missing. Last few weeks have been the hardest. I look around and finding myself asking, where is everyone? It's a shame for Dan. We won't stop looking for him. Another friend, Jordan, says he hopes the search will bring people together and raise awareness that Dan is still missing. The group searched a number of locations close to where Daniel was last seen, close to the Millennium Bridge. So they've been trying to piece together his last movements. He's been gone a concerning amount of time. We have absolutely no idea where he is. No leads as to where he is. He could be anywhere. That's what's concerning. In a normal missing persons case, you have an idea where someone has gone. With Dan, we don't. That's why it's so important that we can get all the help we can. So he's 6 foot, slim build, short brown hair. He was wearing a blue Hugo Boss tracksuit and black trainers when he was last seen. Lancashire Constabulary has confirmed the investigation into Daniel's disappearance is ongoing. Anyone with information is asked to call 101, quoting log 0250 of December 12th. But the police have not released any information like recently about Dan. So the case is still open, but don't know. I don't know whether they've exhausted all they can do and are just waiting for tips. Don't know. So that's a group of friends who've been out around Lancaster, just raising awareness, putting posters up, talking to people, searching down the river. That's all people can do. But in my view, if the altercation, if what Kat said, sorry, is right, then which park? This one? This area? So if he's walked over Millennium Bridge and gone this way and been arguing with someone here, that looks like a little park area. Key Meadow. Don't think I can go down there. So I can go and have a look round, but I mean, what can I do? You know, it's like I can go and walk the routes that you might have gone and film the routes, but it's just a busy location. Like, it's not like you can miss, like, let's say he died somewhere. It's not like you can miss him. Do you know what I mean? It's not the same as Nicola's case. It's not like you can miss him. You know, if a body had been left somewhere, it would have turned up by now. Which is another reason why I think he's in the river. But how did he get in the river? Is the foul play involved? Why can I not get that park area? Can I get to the park? Yeah, this area. So did he go here? I mean, that's Millennium Bridge. So instead of walking this way to the train station, this way, did he go this way and have an argument with someone? How close to the river can you get? Oh, you can get down. Okay, here's the river. So there's a barrier. So it's not a high barrier. Steps there. So yeah, of course you can get down to the river. There's a river path there. So you've got this wall, then you've got a path here, and then you've got the... So could you be walking along here and fall over? Yeah, you could. So steps there that go down to that. So I can go here and film this if you want me to. Well, the River Loon, it's a dangerous river because it's tidal. I mean, that looks what? I don't know, 3 foot high. So you can fall over it. Like, you know, have a freak accident, be walking along arguing with somebody and fall over the barrier. You could do. You could do. Or someone could push you. Push more likely, yeah. In this case, I think so. In which case, someone knows. In which case, someone knows and isn't saying. You know, they might not have meant to push him over the barrier. You know, it might have been an argument that just went wrong. So it's not murder. It's just really unfortunate that someone had an argument with him and pushed him in. But someone knows. Someone needs to come clean if that's the case. So we know one altercation, 2 friends there. He walked off, last seen on bridge. Well, yeah, but how is that what friends have said? Or is that the, you know, what's been released officially? I mean, let's go from there. Let's go from there because there's nowhere else to start from. You got to start somewhere. What was the argument about? Don't know. Don't know. So Millennium. So this is where he was. This is Millennium Bridge, and then that area there goes to the train station. So if you walk that way, if you walk left or straight on, I guess, he would have gone to the train station, caught on millions of CCTV cameras. If he went this way, then yes, he could have walked along the river, got on the river path, which is just here. Now, if someone heard a splash, then whereabouts? Whereabouts was that? I mean, to be honest, wherever you're falling along here, it's deep. The River Loon's deep and it's tidal and it's not far away from the estuary. It's about, I would say about maybe 4 miles to the sea. All right, I've got another article here. This is from the Lancaster Guardian. And this was to mark his 29th birthday, which has been recently. So Daniel has now turned 29. Friends and brother, a special event to mark Daniel's birthday. Daniel's brother Robbie joined friends by the side of the River Loon, close to where Daniel was last seen on Wednesday to celebrate his birthday. They decorated the area around the Loon Street end of the Millennium Bridge, which is where we've just been. Daniel is from Coventry, but has lived in Preston for about 8 years. The other thing said 6 years, but he's been lived in Preston several years anyway. Went missing after visiting a friend in Lancaster on December 10th. Robbie made the trip to Lancaster from his home in Coventry to help spread the word about his brother's disappearance, as well as to mark his birthday. Made a personal plea to Daniel to get in touch if he possibly could, to let the family know he's okay. Because the other thing is, he could have just walked away. But what would he, you know, his friends say it's so out of character, he wouldn't have just walked away. What was the weather like that time of year? It was cold. It was very cold on December 10th. It was cold. Would the river have been frozen? It's a deep river, so no, I don't think it would freeze. I mean, there could be ice on there, but it wouldn't have completely frozen. How cold was it? It was cold. It was cold. December 10th, because I make videos every day, I can tell you. I can tell you what the weather was like by looking at my footage. Hold on. Let me find my videos from that time. To go back a bit. Now, remember, I'm about 40 miles south, but the weather's pretty much the same. Hold on. Let's play a video from December 10th when I find one. December 10th. Okay. That's December 10th. So it was that time when it was really cold. It was really cold for a few days. No, nobody, no, nothing, no sightings, nothing. He could be alive, he could be dead. People assume he's in the river, but is he? Possibly. More likely than anywhere else, or else he would have been caught on CCTV. The only other way is if he got in a car. Got in a car out of the area. Yeah. You live near a river that freezes, but has to be really cold for a while. Yeah, the creek near me, which is literally like 6 inches deep most of the year, unless it rains a lot. And it has to be really cold even for that to freeze because it's moving water. So if it's if it's just maybe just below freezing, then it's not gonna freeze a river. And the Loon is a deep river. Have I got footage of this creek? Just see if this creek's frozen. I don't think it is. But yeah, it was that week when it was really, really cold. It was bitterly cold, especially at night. I'm not going to go to the creek, am I? I'm just walking alongside, but you can't see it. And this creek here, it's literally like 6 inches deep. No, I'm just walking along the field. But yeah, that's the weather from December 10th. I don't know about the moon, but it's a well-lit area. It's a well-lit area. It's the middle of a town. So it's not like it's out in a, rural backwater. This is the middle of a town or a city, even. The River Loon runs right through the middle of it. If alcohol can pass out, etc., and sadly pass, yeah, but where would his body be? But his body would have been found. It's not like he was in the middle of the woods. Even if he was in, let's say, even if he went to this park, this like wooded area here, it's not big. It's not big. He would have been found. He really would have been found. If he went to this park arguing with people, that makes sense. The train tracks right there. So that's the station right there. Can I get onto Lancaster Station? Or I can get outside. That's Lancaster train station. I've walked down here so many times. That's the train station there. Full of CCTV. Trains have CCTV on them. So he's not got on a train. Exactly. Can't believe there's no CCTV. This is what's confusing me, yeah. Because I'm sure if he had been on a CCTV, if he'd been found on CCTV, the police would have released it, I'm sure. Because that's, it gives a direction. Yeah, they've had divers in the river. But we know from similar cases how notoriously difficult it is to search a river, especially a river that's tidal, because it's moving things backwards and forwards. So it's not like you can just clear one area. Like a land search, you can say, right, that area there is clear. Definitely not in that area. Whereas a tidal river, things are moving backwards and forwards with the tide. And this is pretty close to the estuary. This is tidal. And it's full of sand. All the rivers down the northwest of England are full of sand and silt. There's massive sandbanks, like there is on the River Wyre. We've had this conversation regarding Nicola Bulley. Like if Nicola had gone further downstream, she'd have been caught on a sandbank. That's where they were looking. That's where they thought she'd gone. Whereas the River Loon's exactly the same. It's all silted up, full of sandbanks. So there's loads of places where a body could get trapped. Loads of places. Anyway, let's finish this article, then we'll look at the Facebook group. So, so this is your brother speaking. If you're out there, Dan, just let us know you are safe. You don't need to let us know where you are. Just give us a little message or sign or anything. That's all we need, just to know you are safe. One of 9 siblings, Dan also has links to Norwich, where they lived for a while around 10 years ago, as well as connections to Coventry, Preston, and Lancaster. So has he gone somewhere else? Has he got in a car and just gone? That's best case scenario, obviously, because it means he's still alive. But if it's true that he went to that park arguing with someone and then a splash was heard, well, that's not good news. But who was there at the time? Who was that person who said that? Not saying that they're guilty of anything, just saying who was it who said that? And exactly what direction did that splash come from? Doesn't mean to say that Dan's body would be there now, but it's a starting point. Robbie said family and friends will raise a glass to Dan later today, as they would have if he was here. We always say that Dan has a birthday month, not just a day. He loves a good whiskey or a vodka. He likes the posh stuff. So the chances are alcohol was involved. He was always the party man, so we would have been partying all day. So he's a party guy, right? So there would have been alcohol involved. He's very fun, always trying to make everybody happy, never be dull around him. We'll always raise your spirits and make sure everyone is having the best day they possibly can. That's why it hurts so much, because obviously we don't have that person there to be able to lift us up. So we left City View, sidings close to the River Loon, 9:30, December 10th. So just people publicising. Possible later sightings from Millennium Bridge close to the exit from the Loon on the same evening. So this is a possible sighting on Millennium Bridge, but that's only a possible sighting. So where did he go? Let's assume this is correct. Where did he go? Did he go to the train station? If so, he'd have been caught on CCTV. Did he go to that little park area? If so, maybe not caught on CCTV, but what happened then? If someone heard a splash, who was it? What direction did it come from? Was there anyone else with him at the time the splash happened? Daniel, who has a young son, was last seen wearing a blue Hugo Boss tracksuit and black trainers. So I don't know whether he sees his son. I don't know whether he's in a relationship. People watching this might know. I mean, that's obviously not relevant if they weren't there at the time, but 6'2", he's about 6 foot. There's conflicting details, but it doesn't matter. He's tall, right? Tall, slim, brown hair. Tattoo on the right side of his neck reading Shannon. Also has a pixie ear on his right side. Police say extensive searches, including the River Loon, taken place since Daniel's disappearance, and nothing's come of it. Anyone who has any information or sightings of Daniel should contact 101 quoting log 0250 December 10th. So party guy, chances are alcohol was involved. So, don't know. Right, let's look at the Facebook group. Oh, I've been accepted. I requested to join the group, so I've been accepted. let's just take that off screen now. All right, can you see that? Yes. All right. So this has been set up just to post information about him. This is a private group, so I probably best not share too much from this. Because I had to request to join. People, you know, and people making comparisons with Nicola Bulley, saying why did Nicola get so much attention, and then Dan, who went missing nearly, well, a month and a half before Nicola, didn't. And that's the same old story, isn't it? That why do some people, so they if you want to join, the Facebook group is called Join the Search to Find Daniel Hives. So if you just search for Daniel Hives, if you're on Facebook, the group does come up. So that's all we know. And it is weird how some cases just take off, you know, really get the public's attention. You know, young woman, walking a dog, couple of kids, struck people's attention, whereas a man, 28-year-old man, doesn't seem to strike the public as well, which is a shame. Exactly, Mel. There's just no information, just nothing is just gone. And that is surely impossible in the middle of a town. Yeah, blonde and pretty. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Peter Baglin's wife said that. You know, she said she understands that a young, pretty, you know, young mother strikes the public's attention, whereas a 55-year-old granddad, in Peter's case, doesn't. So in Dan's case, 28-year-old man out partying, oh, well, he's, you know, it's his own fault kind of thing. I mean, people don't come out directly and say that, but it just doesn't strike people in the same way. That I don't know. Is it a sexist thing? Not intentional sexism, but is it a woman thing? You know, women are seen as more vulnerable. I don't know. But that is the world we live in. So it does pull on your heartstrings. Yeah, it does. But Dan is a young dad. He's got a young son. So his son is going to grow up not knowing what happened to his dad. So we've got to find him. So the purpose of this video is to start off by saying I am now on the case of Daniel Hives, and I'll do anything I can do to publicize his missing status. So expect in videos coming up, even if there's no new information, you know, I'm just going to keep reminding people about Dan, and I'll go in the area. I'll go and walk along the river and Millennium Bridge. I'll go to that area and have a look. There's nothing to see because his body's not there. Just to get a feel for it. How long before he was reported missing? Anyone know? That's a good question. That is a very good question. I don't know the answer to that. Hold on. Let me find one of the earlier, let's find an earlier piece. So look. See, there's some recent stuff because it's his birthday. I'll find an old one. Google's annoying. Someone made a YouTube. Oh, yeah, I'm not even sharing this, am I? Hold on a second. Share screen. Oh, thank you. No thanks. Thank you, Doug, for the $5. Thank you. It's very kind of you. Someone made a YouTube video about him 2 weeks ago. That's good. Angel number 333 investigations. This is all about his birthday. And then nothing. Hold on. There's got to be something more recent than that. Something. Usually you're looking for the recent stuff. Now I'm looking for the old stuff. Son of a Lancashire man, Daniel Hives, missing for 3 weeks. All right, so this is police force renewing appeal for information to help find Daniel was last seen on the evening. So little. It's probably going to be a case of speaking to people who actually know him. Lancashire Police Dogs Unit, the Lancashire Police Drone Team, as well as the Northwest Underwater Search and Marine Unit, have been supported by Lancashire Area Search and Rescue, National Police Service, and Dogs from Lancashire Fire and Rescue. So all of the people who were out there searching for Nicola Bulley have also been out there searching for Daniel Hives. Chief Inspector Chris Barton of Lancashire Police said, despite a significant investigation and search, we have as yet received no further information regarding the whereabouts of Daniel. I'm aware and understand a number of people are rightly concerned about Daniel's well-being. I want to reassure those people we are doing everything in our power to find him. We would encourage anyone with information about his disappearance to come forward. So we'd also ask anyone driving in the area of Sidings Close around 9:30, December 10th, who may have seen Daniel to get in touch. Anyone with information, contact 101, quoting 0250 as of December 12th. Don't know who reported him missing. This is what I mean. There's so many things that are just not being reported on. Morgan, thank you for the $2, who says hi to Doug. So Daniel's a dad, yes. Exactly. Why isn't he as important as Nicola Bulley? Exactly. Like Peter Baglin was a granddad. And it seems he wasn't as important as, and I started talking about Peter Baglin, and then I'm sure it was a coincidence, but then, a week or so later, his body was found. So let's get on the case for Daniel. Let's see what we can do for Daniel. Paul O'Grady died, did you know? So yeah, that's it. That's all the information I've got. That's everything I know. Can you call police investigators or someone to get more information? Could do. They're probably not going to tell me anything. I'm nearly ready to finish, Michelle. Nearly ready to finish. I want to keep this like within, reasonable limits, and then people will watch it. So it took 2 days. So if anybody actually knows Daniel, anybody watching this who knows Daniel or has been involved in the search, can you get in touch with me and tell me, how long he was before he was reported missing? What was this altercation about, if you know? Those kind of things, just as a starting point. So you can just get in touch with me. I'm on Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, you need to join my group, but it's obviously doesn't cost you anything. So my contact details are always in the description boxes of videos. if you could, that would be great. Just as a starting point, somewhere to start from, because this case is really at threat of becoming a cold case now. There's nothing. So I'll leave it there. But I'm on the case with this case now. So so yeah, I hope this has done something, at least just to raise awareness for Daniel, if nothing else. So thank you all for tuning in. A bit of a strange time for me. I'm going to go and start my day now. Thank you for the donations. Thank you, as always, to the mods who help keep us all on track. And I'll see you very soon. Bye, guys.